2, ready.
Ready.
Stand by.
Howdy folks, it's Age of the Hunting Gear Guy. This is the BCL Siberian SRV2 in 5.56. It's a, well, 5.56, 223 Wild is what the chamber is, which can run 5.56 or 223. And I found that to be the case. It could run both of them. My magazine's empty and my chamber's empty, so let's take a closer look at this thing. So these rifles are Canadian made with globally sourced parts. Is that how you'd phrase it? I've got a Magpul Zhukov stock at the back here. I like this stock. I think this is a great stock for it. Nice and straight. I really like that line. Look at that. It really is nice and sleek on the back there. And I find the cheek rest on that thing is actually just perfect for me. You might need to add a little bit if you've got a little bit of a thinner face. And if you got a thicker face, you might have to go with a higher mount. But for me, this AR mount, I find this is just fine for typical AR mount optics. In terms of kind of moving forward there, we've got a BCL grip. It's okay. It's got a little bit of a shelf right here, a little bit of a sharp. Usually they'll most grips will angle that bit down. This one doesn't. It doesn't really matter though. At the back, okay, one thing I really like about this, the Magpul stock has a QD cup right there. It's got one, well, it's got a space for one at the back. You got to pay 20 bucks from Magpul if you want one of those, or buy the cups in bulk. If you've got like a lot of rifles, just buy the cups in bulk. I think push button, like cup style like this, it's the best sling attachment point system. And if you want to really run this rifle, I would recommend back here and up here with one of those included ones. That would be the most ideal, because then that's going to put that sling right and hold the rifle just in front of you like this, which would be really nice. Whereas this one at the back here, that's best if you want to run like a single point sling kind of in front of you and you want to hit yourself in the dick. You're into that CBT action. Then run a single point sling. But if you don't, run a 2-point and, sling it across like that. In terms of like moving forward here, okay, yeah, we've got a safety here, ambi. I'm not using my mind to switch it. It's got on the other side there. It's pretty stiff on this one. I don't know if that's if it's supposed to be like that, but yeah, it's pretty stiff. And then we get to the trigger. The trigger pull on this rifle is absolutely terrible. Now it's an AR trigger. I am of the personal opinion that give me a crappy trigger and let me replace it, or give me a really good trigger and I won't have to. This one, it's not a good trigger. Let's see what it gives me today. Look at that creep. Oh, finally. 7 pounds, 6. Oh, that's actually much better than usual. I was getting like upwards of 9 pounds with this thing earlier. Let's try another trigger pull. All the way over 8. Okay, that one gave me 8 pounds. Before I was getting like 9, now I'm getting 8. Okay, good. It's better than before, but it's still pretty bad. It's still a really long, gritty trigger on this thing. Ugh, a lot of munch and crunch in the middle there. But it's included, so, who cares? Moving forward on the controls, we've got a enlarged magazine release. I don't really need like a big one, but I guess it's okay that it's nice and big, and it works like you'd expect the magazine release to work. We also have a bolt hold open, like the proprietary BCL bolt hold open. I found this worked some of the time. Some of the time it didn't. Some of the time you press it and sometimes it would drop it, sometimes it wouldn't drop it. So really inconsistent from that aspect. So rather than that, I use the ping pong paddle that they've got on the side there. On the left-hand side, there's our ping pong paddle. Press at the bottom to press the bolt in. Press at the top to drop it, and that's that. And that worked just fine. We have a non-reciprocating charging handle on the left-hand side. So there's our charging handle right there. Just gonna pull it down, press that bolt hold open, and there's the charging handle. It's a little bit small. I think with this optic setup I have on here, it's fine. If you have an optic that's got like big chunky, like those nuts that sit out the side, and then you put them on the left-hand side, you're gonna start like scraping your knuckles against those trying to run this charging handle. So it would be cool if they used a bigger one, but if you buy this rifle, make sure that your bolts and other hardware is on the left-hand side. Oh, if you run like a bigger scope or something with like a side, like a parallax adjustment or illumination knob or something like that on the side, that's also going to get in the way of your hand. If you run like a small red dot, who cares? Going on the underneath, we have this squared off mag. Well, BCL's always been doing these kind of things. They're okay. They're like, it's not super well beveled on the way in there, but it's fine. It is a little bit, I don't know, kind of chunky and that kind of thing, but that's okay. Along the top, we have a pick rail all the way out there. We have this forend. I like the Cerakote that they've done on this, and the style, like the two-tone look. I like it. I can dig it. The forend is pretty cool, but there's a couple things on here that aren't so cool. One is there's no ventilation on the top, so heat wants to rise. There's nowhere for it to rise. This forend's going to get really hot. There's a couple things that they've done on it that are kind of interesting. We've got M-LOK on the sides. We've got M-LOK on the bottom. We've got kind of like vent holes on these bottom parts, and then none right here. I think, like my MCR, the gas on it will like come out on the forend where it is. That's why I have that red wrap on the forend, is so that it doesn't get on my hands. With this rifle, they've opted to kind of put in this little bit here, so it's recessed into the handguard, and there's also no vents on that spot, so you can run there. That does come with a little step right here and right here, so if you put M-LOK stuff on here, it'll just have to be on those sections or the other sections. You wouldn't be able to like bridge to these sections, kind of a thing. Now the barrel profile, what would you call this? It's not an SPR. It's not even a medium. It's like a lighter than that. It's the same as my MCR. So I measured the OD of the barrel kind of closer to the muzzle here. Same thing as my MCR. Similar weight, a little bit heavier than my MCR. I think that's because of the forend and potentially because of the stock that it came with as well. A little bit more weight, especially in this this forend. So that's just a really quick overview of the rifle. Let's talk about actually shooting it. I didn't have a good time. I took this thing to a match, and I got all kinds of stoppages. So the very first, I took it to the range to sight in. My very first shot, click. I got a failure to fire. It had not chambered the round. Not a good first impression, and after that, it ran. I did get a lot of times where the bolt would lock open while there was ammo still in the gun. So it would look like this on me, and I was firing, and I'm like, oh, I thought I had more rounds. I'd look over, and I'd see that I do still have more rounds, and I'd pull the charging handle and keep going. I don't know what the cause of this is. This rifle has already been back to BCL for that issue, and it's still not resolved. So I don't know if this is something that's going to be common that's going to come up, but the reliability for me was really bad, and too bad for what it, which is actually, like, I was hoping this rifle is actually decent for the money. So if the reliability was good. If you think about like what you're getting like a decent forend, you're getting a really nice stock with this thing, you're getting some go fast parts like the bolt release, the ping pong paddle. A lot of AR 180s don't have the ping pong paddle or anything like that. They'll have like, at best, a lot of the manufacturers right now have like a bolt hold open that's kind of backwards. Ping pong paddle I think is better. Bolt release, if it was working, would be better. Like, there's a lot of cool things to like about this rifle. But the reliability was not one of them for me. It just wasn't reliable enough in competition, and that's where I use a lot of my rifles, is in competition. So that gave me some issues. The side, like I mentioned, the side bolt release would only work sporadically for me, so I don't know why that is doing that. In terms of other things that you may not like about this rifle, how do you get to that gas system? Well, You gotta take the fore end off, right? So we gotta remove the fore end, and we'll do that here in a minute. But that's to get access to the gas system. We're probably gonna do that every 1,000, 2,000 rounds kind of a thing. So that's something to think about. The included triggers are really bad. We already talked about that. Charging handle's a little bit small. The safety is quite stiff right now. Some magazines can be over-inserted into this rifle, and the way that you can really test this is with the bolt open, ram a magazine in, and see if it over-inserts or not. Now, most of my magazines, I didn't have a problem with this. So this is something I've seen on other rifles. What you'll see is that the magazine can go a little bit high. The magazine release is actually stopping these magazines from going in too far. It's doing a good job. I tested this with a couple of the magazines in my bag. They didn't seem to over-insert too bad. Your mileage may vary. You might find that yours lets them over-insert. Mine, it seemed to be fine. And like a really small quibble, because I don't really care about this, that's not really going to work for, well, it's not going to work reliably for shooting with the stock folded because it's covering the ejection port. I don't really care. I'm not trying to be like Rambo or something like that. I want to shoot this rifle accurately, and to do that, you have to put it up on your shoulder. Let's talk about some good things. One, the disassembly on this thing's fantastic. To get to the bolt, oh, so good. Yeah, getting to the gas system is a pain in the ass. Getting to the bolt is one of the best of all of the AR-180 clones. It looks really great. I think the Zhukov stock, I really like this stock. I think it's fantastic. I think the controls are really good if they work. There's a lot of AR-15 compatible components on this as well. So if you want to replace that trigger, that's very easy to do. If you want to replace the magazine release, that should be doable. I don't actually know. Yeah, that looks like an AR-15 magazine release under there, so you can replace that if you don't like the big button on there. I don't know why you would want to, though. This trigger guard here, that's AR-15 spec. So if you wanted like the big glove, winter glove thing, you could get one of those. I think that's all. Well, I guess the fore end you could replace. Well, no, that fore end looks like it would be a pain in the ass to replace, because we've got a little cutout here on the top that might make that kind of a pain in the ass. The stock on the back, so this is using a Picatinny rail adapter. So if you wanted to, you could put like a SIG MCX or something like that, a different folder on here. I don't know why you'd want to. If you swapped out this stock, like this isn't like the best stock ever, but if you swap this stock out with a lighter folding stock, it's gonna make this thing super front heavy because all the weight's gonna be on the front, none of the weight's gonna be on the back. It's gonna balance kind of weird, in my opinion, at least. I think it would anyways. I think this stock looks good on it too. It's got nice lines on it. So why don't we disassemble this thing? So single push pin on the back here. I'm just going to push that a little bit. I'm just going to push it a little bit more in with this round of 5.56. Push that forward. And this is why I think this is one of the best ones. It's got a captured recoil assembly. No, let's do that whole thing with gloves on. All right, sorry, I just realized this thing was filthy. I need to wear some gloves, otherwise I'm going to get all nasty here. But yeah, on our bottom there's an AR-15 trigger. There's an AR-15 safety on there. Magazine release. Oh boy, that bolt hold open has really been beat up. I wonder if that's causing me the issues. It's got a little bit of a rolled over lip on it. And it's been dragging. Huh. Yeah, I wonder if that wear is why I've been having it come open on me. Anyways, back to it. To remove this thing. Whoop, look at that. Now this is a fantastic idea. I think captured recoil springs are super convenient, and I like to see them on rifles whenever possible. So there we've got that. Let's just give this thing a quick little wipe off here. I should be able to disassemble this thing without looking up manual, right? Should be able to. Pushing in that firing pin, capture pin. All right, there's that firing pin, retaining pin. I have heard some people have issues with these things and them falling out. These solid pins with the little split on the end, when you install them, you really ought to hold the one side of the pin, and then on the other side, put a flathead screwdriver in there and bend it to engage those lips, to get those lips to spread out a little bit, so that it grabs better on there. There's our firing pin, and this is the Gen 2 firing pin. This one has shoulders on both sides to keep it from beating the hell out of that thing, which I think was an issue with some of the earlier ones. Cam pin comes out, just like everything else at these things. Like these are all starting to look very similar, right? There's our bolt. Our bolt is looking pretty good. I just watched Hoser Gun Guy got a video out before I got this one out, and one thing that he mentioned is that he was seeing some unusual wear on his bolt head. I think this is looking okay so far, so maybe the heat treat on this one was a little bit different than his, but this bolt head is looking okay. This rifle has about 3,500 rounds in it, something like that. I haven't looked at the exact round count. I know it was 3,300 when I got it. And I don't know. The rest of this bolt assembly here is looking really good. I don't see any problems. Oh, it's so smooth. It feels fantastic. I really like this this captured bolt design. One thing to note is that when you do want to disassemble it, you're gonna have to pull these little clips off here so that the captured bit goes away. And then we wouldn't really need to do this for routine maintenance, but there's that charging handle and a little kind of plate that it guides in. In terms of the upper, there's really nothing else that's unusual. I'm just going to go ahead and put this thing back together. There's that guy, extractor to the right, because we want to extract out that port. This thing does not have the option to eject out either side, and it does not have an option to change the charging handle over to the right-hand side. I don't really consider that a fault. I think that's fine for what the rifle is, but keep that in mind that I am right-handed, and for me, that is the correct order of things: is a left-hand charge and right handle or right eject. That's correct for me. I'm gonna go ahead and push that firing pin in, and then push in the retaining pin. Ooh, that's stiff. Just make sure it's all the way in there. It's got a flush fit to the side there. I'm just going to pull a nice little flat here, get in between the lips of that thing, and just crank them loose. There we go. And that firing pin's not going to come out. Next, I can go ahead and drop that guy in there. Like all these things, you got to make sure that the bolt is out. Rotate it out for it to get into the lugs there. I like that. So it's nice and flat on the back, which means this is a very quick reassembly. All right, now I'm trying to disassemble the forend here. I was just trying to skip you the boring parts. I've removed these two. These are using a 9/64, which I hate that head size. I don't know why so many people use it, but now I'm just slowly pulling off the forend. Woo, that's got some grease on her. And then there is our cup, and let me just pull that back. Oh, no. So it's just loose in there. I think that's fine. How do I disassemble this monster, though? Uh-oh. I think I've reached the limits of what I can do here. We're gonna remove this front screw. Maybe. Oh my god, that's a lot of power. Oh my goodness. And I mean, you can't grease these threads or anything like that, because right on the gas block here, this is going to get quite hot. Okay, there's the tap. So, I can't get this off. You need to remove the gas block. You need to undo that, move the gas block to get the gas system. Almost! So close! Come on, guys! The Armalite AR-180B has this same system that got just a little bit more slack so you can pull it out. The SVT-40, made in World War II, has a gas system that you can disassemble without moving this thing. Come on! Come on, we're there. I should be able to just move this and get it out of there, but no such, no such. Almost. We were this close to greatness. Okay, well, I guess I put the thing back together again and just leave disappointed. Just so disappointed. So where does that leave us? Very promising. Not ready yet. Not ready yet. It needs some reliability things done to it. There's a couple of minor things. Disassembly to get to that gas system is something else. The reliability is not there yet. So wait, that's it. Thanks for watching.